Backroom Comedy 2021. 21 again, that's very exciting. 21 again. Oh, goodbye 20, that's great. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Oh, I'm so puffed. Oh, just a minute. So, just a bit of housekeeping. So tonight we've got the wonderful Richard Townsend. Yay! Yeah! Bob T, he's a newcomer. Yay! We've got Kimberly G. Yay! We've got a wee break, so more drinks will be needed. Then we have Erin Parry. Yay! Glenn Cousins. And then the wonderful Nick Reddo. So, did we get through Christmas? Get through Christmas? Yeah, you look like you got through Christmas. That's good. I got through Christmas. Oh, it's great. For Christmas, we went really minimal. We were like, oh no, we won't bother with presents this year. We'll just get a few big items for the house. And I really wanted a new bed, and my partner was like, yes, let's get a new bed. So we went and got a new bed. And never again. It's the worst experience of my life, honestly. In my adult life, I've never felt so embarrassed buying an object for my house. It was just awful. Except for that one time I went to the chemist. Felt pretty embarrassed then. I got hemorrhoid cream. Looked at the cashier and I said, no, it's all right. It's actually just for my wrinkles. Kim Kardashian said it's for wrinkles. We both looked at each other for about 5 seconds, knowing it was destined for my asshole. But no, bed shopping was awful. So we went into Big Save Furniture. Anybody work there? No, because you've got souls. You've got assholes. So we went up and we saw another bed. And the thing I don't like the most about bed shopping would probably be that time when you are taken to a really expensive bed first, and they say, just give it a test run. And I look at them like, you don't want to see our test run of this bed. I don't even want to see this test run. I like my sets dark. Witness protection done. I just want to see the outline of them. He could be an escapee on the news from Gloryvale for all I care. I don't want to see his face, God. No. Yes, and you never lie in the bed like you should. So we've got a new stage. I'm just going to test it out a bit over here. You never lie like you should in your own bed. So I hopped in bed, it was very soft, and I ran my hands, oh, that's soft. That's lovely, and I lay down and I closed my eyes, which was a bit strange, isn't it? I closed my eyes, and they're standing there watching you too, which is a bit weird. And then I lay down and I closed my eyes, and then I went like this. Like I sleep like fucking Dracula or something. And I look over to Mike, and he's in the fetal position with his finger in his ear. I snore and I beat him up in my sleep, but still, it's our business, nobody else's. It's surprising he put his finger in his ear, really. It's got ear lashes. Really hairy ears, ear lashes. Very hairy. In fact, at night I play a game where I put my hand across and I'm like, ear lash or eyelash. And I turn my phone light on and I'm like, oh, ear lash, damn. Lost a point. And they always run upsell, don't they? Pillows, mattress protectors. And there's always that awkward silence where they're like, it protects from bodily fluid. You're just looking at each other like, I just know that's what they're thinking too. They're just looking at each other. Yeah, that's great. And then I get so wound up about it that I just sort of lose the plot a little bit. But so the end of the night, goodness me, I'm not going to Big Save at night. Not that kind of shop, is it? At the end of the shopping experience, I just kind of freak out and I'm just like, we're not getting your bloody mattress protectors, I'm just going to glad wrap this one like I did the last one. Damn sight cheaper. Anyway, so time for our first comedian. Ladies, hold on to your tits because you're about to laugh them off. It's the wonderful Richard Townsend. Richard! Come on up, there he is. Drink in hand.
Good, let's go. Woo! Well, great to be back at the Backroom Comedy Club. Merry syphilis and a happy gonorrhea. Actually, we're in Nelson, it's more of a chlamydia kind of place. And I strongly suggest that if you went to Bay Dreams the other day, you should go and get a checkup. These days it can be easily fixed with a little bit of cream or even antibiotics. And it's gone in a couple of days, apparently. So Christmas, New Year is gone for another year. And I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Christmas. I think the thing that I love is I love spending time with my family and friends and barbecues and beers and all that kind of stuff. But the one thing that I really dislike is for some reason, and I don't know what it is, because it's happened to me for the last 5, 6, 7 years, is my clothes always shrink. And there's only about 3 weeks of the year that my wife does the washing. And I think it's because she does everything on a hot wash. Or maybe it's because I need to stop wearing so many man-made fibres and go to 100% cotton. Or does cotton shrink? I don't know. Anyway, and it comes as a real shock as well, because I'm actually, I mean, you guys are going to laugh at this, but I'm actually go to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. The same look that I always get with these people shaking their heads and thinking, that fat fuck doesn't go to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. That doesn't happen. You know, that look where they look me up and down and they go, nah. And then they feel really bad about it. They go, oh, I thought something was different. You've lost it in your face. And I think I do a lot of fucking squats and bench press and stuff like that. I don't do any facial exercises. So actually compliment me on actually where I'm training. And the big thing as well is you know, I go 5 to 6 times a week. I'm actually a F45 athlete. And I've been over 400 times in the last 2 years, believe it or not. And when I say to people in the community, they'll go, "Oh, you go to the gym, do you?" And I say, "Yeah. Where do you go?" What was that? Sorry, F45. And they're like, "Oh," and they look at me again. And I think 400 times, and you don't have a six-pack. 400 times, and you've got really small biceps. 400 times, and you still look like James Corden's twin brother. And then, you know, they say to me, oh, they go, F45. Oh, I thought only girls went to that gym. I thought you had to have a vagina. And to be honest, most of the boys and girls that do go to that gym do have a vagina. But there are some males there that do have penises that do go to that gym. And believe it or not, I'm actually one of them. So I've been going to F45 for like 2 years, 400 classes. And if you don't know what F45 is, it's like one of these places where it's kind of like aerobics with weights, with people that are extremely high on life. And it's actually not really a gym, it's actually more of a cult. And they have this guy, their leader, their fearless leader named Corey G, who is an American guy who's juiced to the tits on steroids. And he's got this perfect physique like Adonis, like a Greek god. And all of the clientele, the worshippers, the people that train there go in and they're like bowing to these 3 TVs on the wall up the front like he's some sort of messiah. And he's there doing exercises in perfect unison over and over and over again, and he never gets tired. He does about 12 hours a day of all these techniques, and he's just deadlifting for about 5.5 hours. That's probably why he's so big. I only go for 45 minutes. Maybe I need to go all fucking day to sign up there and just stay for 8 hours. So F45, it's one of those things. It's kind of like a cult, and they have these trainers, and the trainers, they're just amazing. They're amazing people. I would love to be at a job interview for the trainers, and I'd love to see their checklist for how what are they looking for? 1, good looking. 2, use Botox, not a it's only an advantage. It's not. You don't have to all wear Botox, but it's definitely an advantage. Have to be a little bit vain, a little bit insane. You have to be able to count down from 3 to 1 in unison with the timer. That's part. I think when they go for the job interview, they go, "Okay, you go," and 3, 2, 1. Oh, good work, guys. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you're smashing it today. You know, like they're really like you. That's one of the fucking prerequisites. One of the prerequisites as well is you've got to have really cheesy one-liners like "Smash it, girl! Oh my God, look at this girl. She's hitting all her games. She's winning. Woman for life." I mean, when I go there, I actually feel like an empowered woman. I actually feel like I've got a vagina. A big hairy one that's never been to the wax bar. El natural. Sometimes I feel like the alpha female in the class. You know, like it's fucking amazing. You should try it. And they have Instagram, and they have these Instagram videos, and they showcase their athletes. But the funny thing is when they get me, they'll be coming along and they'll be like, "Oh, these people," and whenever they see me, they kind of duck around and then come up the top again, or they're desperately trying to push the stop button on the fucking video. You see the trainer there go, and it's not turning, or they restart the video. You always see me sort of cut off, and they're like, "Oh, look at Trisha, she's planking for 50 seconds. Go, Trisha." And then they've got, "Oh, look at Jane, she's done her PB on her frog squat today. Look, there's Richard, he's done 4 classes, he's only just begun." And that's the kind of thing that they do to me. But that's right, I don't have to fit the mold. I still like turning up. I like pretending that I'm sort of part of the crew, but not really part of the crew, sort of, you know, that kind of thing. And they do these challenges, and they're fantastic because you kind of get like a diet of like those kids off the World Vision ads for 8 weeks, and you still train as much, so you're like real tired all the fucking time and real grumpy, and they're just, "Don't worry, guys, it's because you haven't had coffee in 7 weeks." And the other thing about that as well is that it's like chicken breast almost every meal, and by the end of the 8-week challenge, I went from a B cup to a D cup. And sports bras are not cheap, and I've had to buy a couple of them. And at the end of the 8-week challenge, what they do is they have a challenge party where they offer you free food and drink, and you put all that weight back on in about 3 hours, and you just spend the whole time telling the trainers how fucking fantastic they are, which they are. And anyway, January the 18th, we've got another 45-day challenge coming up. If you're really interested, you can sign up on the website, or if you come in, you get a 7-day free trial. It's really great. You'll smash all your goals, and you'll probably look like me at the end of it. So if you're interested, come up and see me anytime tonight, or they're actually only 3 or 4 doors down. So yeah, get amongst it. Thank you very much.
I don't go to the gym because I'm just trying to eliminate my COVID situation places, so I don't want to go there and get COVID. That'd be very awkward. I really don't want to get COVID, so I'm COVID testing wherever I go. I'm scanning like a scanner, and just trying not to get this COVID, because I really don't want to end up on the TV with Ashley Bloomfield going through my list of places I've been. And then after like the 14th fast food restaurant, he's like, "What a fat bitch." And then the sign language lady's like, incredibly awkward for me. So we're going to move right along to our very first newcomer tonight, Bob T, everybody.
Alright, let's go. Why am I doing this? That was a mistake. I have never done anything like this before. I haven't even done karaoke before. So I have hired a laugh track. So can the laugh track laugh now, please? Okay, you guys get cancelled. Like, no, we need to get you guys a pay rise or something to work it out. Well, anyway, I'm 21. I had my 21st birthday in COVID-19, in lockdown, which was fantastic. Glad alcohol was an essential service, because essentially I'd be breaking the law otherwise. Because there was no chance I was going to remain sober on my 21st birthday. That's just ridiculous. Not happening. Now you're probably looking at me right now. I'm a bit red in the face, a bit nervous and all that sort of stuff. But yes, I am nervous. But actually, I was born like this. I'm just red in the face permanently. It sucks. You get strawberry blonde in the hair, strawberry milkshake in the face. It doesn't really wake up too well. But you know, I was born in Dunedin, which kind of sucks because I turned into a nice little white snowball. And then we came up to Nelson, which is Satan's armpit of a place. Absolutely too hot. I can't stand it most days. I mean, last time I went to Bay Dreams, almost had heat stroke because I lost my sun hat. Had a bunch of white girls coming up to me going, please, let me put sunscreen on you. You look so red, you need it. And I'm just like, can you please leave me alone? I'm already slimy enough from this stuff. I'm getting kind of sick of it. I'm covered in it head to toe. And they go, please, I'm a Libra rising and you're a Gemini and you really need it because I'm going to get so fit. Well, I get kind of sick of it anyway. But I came to tell you guys a story about my first use of a bidet. Now, who knows what a bidet is? Now, some of you guys are laughing because you already know what it is. Now, for me, I'm not laughing because it was a very traumatic experience. Now, a bidet is the advanced hands-free way of wiping. So it sprays water into your down there area after you've taken your number 2, which is quite interesting. A lot of Japanese people use it. Apparently, it's quite common over there. So I'm a cleaner by trade, and I was going to this house once, and they had a bidet on the toilet seat. And I've been looking at that over a couple of times and going like, I'm going to use it one day. I do want to use it. But the one thing that's put me off is I looked on the wall, and there was a little remote there, and I looked onto it, and it said a button saying, enema. Now, I do not want to know what the hell that button does. That's just terrifying. Anyway, the first time after lockdown that I went to this house, I was thinking about all lockdown going, right, I keep wiping, doing this primal way. I've got to get with the times, go to the future. It's 21st century, for God's sake. So I sat down on this bidet, and it does 2 little beeps as I squat. And I'm like, have I just connected to it wirelessly? Is there a Spotify playlist I can go through and get tunes while I do my number 2s? That's just ridiculous. But yeah, so I see 3 little buttons beside me. Wash, rinse, and dry. So I press wash, and I hear another 2 little beeps, and I kind of start to get a bit anxious on the inside. And then I hear like this little whirring in it. And I'm just terrified at this point. I'm prepared what I'm going to get. I got both my hands on the wall. I'm squatting. I'm prepared. And then suddenly just a jet of water, surprisingly accurate, goes right up there. Now they say that it's a kind of like a Poseidon's kiss when you sort of feel a splash up. If that's Poseidon's kiss, this is Poseidon's French kiss, guys. It was not present at all. And it was quite cold at first. Like, it was like when you have a shower, you just turn it on, it's cold at first, and it starts to get really hot. Absolutely burning hot, like on my ass within 3 seconds. And I was just in so much pain. And as I'm looking up at the door, I realise there's no lock at all. And my other workmate is walking around. And I'm thinking, oh no, he's meant to clean the toilet soon. And this is a very, very awkward position to be in. Because when you've got water spraying into your butthole and you've got 1 foot on the door, both hands on the side, and you're looking up waiting for someone to knock on that door, it's kind of an awkward position to be in. So after about 20 seconds, it stops. You go, all right, I'm going to go with this next bit setting. Click rinse. And another jet of water, but this time it was 2, and they start sort of moving around and just like spraying the entire area. And so I'm just sitting there, wet bum, going, do I grab the toilet paper? Do I wipe? What do I do at this point? So I look at this last setting and it says dry. And I'm thinking, this should be fun. Let's see how it goes. So I press it, hear another 2 little beeps. And you know when you go into the mall or these new places and you get those Dyson air dryers? I couldn't believe the power on this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this was absolutely torrential. It was like a Category 5 tornado had gone through my butt pubes. It was not nice. Not nice at all. So yeah, I'm sitting there, finishing this procedure, and then sort of this nice little jingle, like the end of a washing machine starts playing, and I'm like, oh, I guess the dishes are done. So, I stand up, I go to wipe, and there's nothing there. It's a ghost paper, honestly. And then I was just impressed. Stood up, flushed it down, opened the toilet, and sort of walked out like I was walking out of a prison toilet, just waddling along. And then I look at my workmate, I look him in the eyes, and he sees. We look at each other for about 5 seconds, staring, and he just smiles and he goes, "You used the bidet, didn't you?" You did. And I just hung my head in shame, sat back in the car. We drove back to the base. He walks right up to my boss without saying a word to me and goes, "Guess what Bob did at work today?" And that's all I've got, guys. But anyway, thanks for that. I'll make that David Bain short note. See you later.
Oh, see everybody, didn't you do well? 21 during lockdown, that would suck. But I had a baby during lockdown, so I'm a martyr. No, she's 9 months old now. It's lovely, lovely. I had to have her because on Facebook it was who's going to have a baby in 2020 and my name was on the list. So I'm not one to peer pressure. But, first time I had peer pressure was when I had to steal a K-bar for a Tamagotchi when I was 9. Didn't forget the look on Mum's face as she ate that K-bar. Anyway, now it's time for Nelson's sweetheart, Kimber. Whatever your name is. What's your name? Kimber McGee. What's your name?
Thanks, Sarah. Sarah and I used to go to school together, and she doesn't know how to say my name still. That was a long time ago. Anyhow, hey?
It's Jane from Slutbridge.
Slutbridge. Which one of us it was, you will never know. So happy 2021. It started out pretty much the same as the last 4 years have gone, getting progressively worse. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about something that's far more exciting and fun and happy. Fan fiction. Anyone in this room not know what it is? Put your hand up. Cool. Right, we need to do a little bit of terminology here. Does anyone in this room not know what shipping is when applied to fan fiction? Hands up. Cool. You've all got phones, go on fucking Google. Anywho, fan fiction is writing stories about your favourite characters on the internet, essentially. So when you're kind of talking about Ross and Rachel and whether or not they should have done whatever the hell they did at the end of Friends, because I never watched it, you're effectively doing what's called shipping, right? You're shipping two characters. And I've been reading and writing fan fiction for more than 20 years now. My first fandom, as they're called, was Sweet Valley High. Anyone remember that? Back in 1997. Oh yeah. Back in the early days of the internet when you had to Google things, but not on Google. It was Alta Vista. Anyone remember Alta Vista? Didn't find anything. Anywho, 20 years of reading and writing fan fiction, and this week, for the first time ever, I recommended a story to somebody that I know in real life. I recommended a story to my husband. It was a thinly veiled attempt to subtly tell him what I wanted to do to me if I were a gay man. This is a very old audience. I was sitting out there going, none of y'all are going to have any idea what the fuck I'm talking about, but let's just run with it. It's fine, right? That's all I've got. I've got one bit tonight. I'm just so fucking tired, honestly. And it wasn't 2020 that did it to me. Frankly, 2020 was not my worst year personally. 1986 through to like 2005 were pretty fucking awful. And then moving forwards, 2016 through to 2019, really horrendous. Probably because I work for Spark. So you could have come in there and tear gassed me and I would have thanked you because I would have had the opportunity for a break. I've achieved a lot this year, well last year. I still can't believe that it's 2021. I still remember what I was doing on the turn of the millennium. I was counting down to it as a small child. But no, I achieved a lot. I got a diploma. Yeah, did. I'm now officially qualified to give interior colour advice to people who have no taste. So, kimbermcgee.com, launching soon. Get in touch if you really like greige. What else did I do? I also finally got to the end of a 10-year journey and deleted my Twitter account. And then immediately created a new one for the explicit reason of retaining my handle for marketing purposes. That's right, even the strongest among us can be susceptible to wills of capitalism. My favourite social media is Tumblr, and it has been for a really, really long time now, and I know you're all laughing at me, but Tumblr has some really great things going for it. Number one is that it's the only website that still shows you shit in chronological order. And it's got its ad game. Its ad game is amazing. I have had an ebook recommended to me multiple times over the last week called The CEO and His Ugly Bride. It's also really, really great at recommending incredibly misleading games. And I mean incredibly misleading. If I see a picture of a capsicum with tits and an ass, I expect your farm simulator to have an excellent depiction of an aubergine. I was bitterly disappointed. But I know you're all sitting there going, I think Tumblr is probably just filled with porn and really weird memes. And you know what? You're partially not wrong. But there was a porn ban in 2018, and if you don't know the history of Tumblr, it's really interesting. Before the porn ban, Yahoo bought Tumblr for $1.1 billion. That's billion with a B. Then they banned the pornography, and they sold it a year later for $3 million with an M. And if you didn't know the value of female presenting nipples, now you know. You can thank me later. Tumblr is nowadays filled with 2,000-word essays on the redemption of Kylo Ren and 200-word summaries on the latest human rights violations in the United States. Speaking of Kylo Ren, does anyone here know what Reylo is? Oh yeah, I've made a lot of you fucking uncomfortable, haven't I? Excellent. Reylo, which is the relationship between the aforementioned, like, wannabe Sith Lord, and a literal ray of sunshine. See what I did there? Puns. Was the #1 ship, going back to that, on Tumblr last year. Now, let that sink in for a minute. J.J. Abrams and co. were not subtle about the Nazi imagery in those movies. I mean, they hit that shit, you know, they hit you in the head with it, like a rubber bullet at a Black Lives Matter rally. So people are out there deciding they'd rather thirst over this, God, I don't know what, white bread Nazi fuckboy, instead of John Boyega and Oscar Isaac, who are right there. Oscar Isaac. That's what made the thirst after. Has everyone in this room seen that amazing set photo from June with the beard and the eyebrows and the armour? No? Nobody? You know what? I normally objectify mostly women, and that's simply because I'm a bisexual woman married to a man and I need to frequently validate my own sexuality. And also tits. But I make an exception for a well-bearded man in a space opera. Han Solo who, honestly, like an old Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm here. That's me, I'm done. Thank you so much, guys. You've been great. Have a great night. I'll see you next week.
It's lovely to be in Liquid, isn't it? Lovely place, disco ball. It is real. Can't turn that on. Or could I? So we're going to have a wee break. We're going to have a 10 to 15 minute break, so please go and get some drinks. The second half is far better than the first, so please stay around, okay? Thank you very much. Alrighty, second half. How did we survive the first half? Lots of drinks being bought. That's good. That's good. Alright, so see you with the cap and the lovely tattoos and the drink. Hi, Sue. Hello, how are you? Having a good night? Oh, good. I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Please stop it. So my fiance is extremely hairy. I know I said before he had eyelashes, but he's very hairy. He's Harry McCleary from Domson's Dairy hairy. He's fucking hairy too in the back there. Yeah, very hairy. He's so hairy I had to shave him once a month. Once a month. I put the tarpaulin down, he stands on it, I make him go bah, shave him, it's great. But I'm an eco-warrior, so I just sort of knit booties and gloves and things like that out of it. Everything. This is me. So our first of the second half tonight is the wonderful Erin Parry, America's sweetheart. So Erin Parry, if you're ready to come up, sweetie. She's slowly making her way. I'm going to pass it over to you, Erin. Oh, yes, I do.
I'm not American. It's really important today and most days that I let a lot of people know. No, proximity, yes. Not from there, which has been really hi. It's okay, I know your husband. I didn't know I knew him. I thought he was just a friendly face at F45. Hi, Erin, good morning. And I was like, I don't fucking know that guy. I don't know that guy. The fuck? And then I heard now, I'm like, oh, but he usually wears like, I would call it a tank top. You would call it a singlet. And that's how I identify him. But you go too. I see you. We all, yeah, you. It's weird to see people. I think also, so this year now I'm 31, but I was 30 last year. That's how math works. And I decided that 2020 was the year that I was really going to commit to getting like a weed habit. Addiction habit. Thank you for your support from the guy with the mullet. Yeah, I had like smoked weed in high school a little bit. I'm Canadian. It was very prevalent. My mom smokes a lot of weed. She's a judge, so it was really normalized in my home. But one time in high school, I greened out. And serious security breach going on at the Liquid Bar. Serious shit going down. Yeah. This place is fucking weird. You notice that this says, voted by you, best bar, 3-time winner. Which years? 06, 07, 08, which years? Because that adds a lot of bearing. Like 15 years ago you won an award. Doesn't, like, can you imagine being like, that's the best bar in Nelson? This place is the best. I fucking love it there, man. That place is sick. It's really hard for me to stay up past 10. I couldn't smoke so much weed. I'm mildly depressed and I have anxiety. There's a lot of reasons. And I gotta go to F45 in the morning because that's kind of how I keep myself not suicidal, which is sad. This is kind of a fucked up place. Surprisingly, I wasn't interested in getting into it until 2020 happened. And then I was like, I don't think I'm above joining a cult. Like, I don't think I'm above. So let's give it a fucking go. And then I was like, oh, a lot of these people are useless. Like, a lot of the women there, I'm like, wow, she is so fit. And then she's like, I need to take a breather. I need to go to the bathroom for 20 minutes. Like, why are you here? Just stay home. But they look cute. And there's also some people, it's interesting as a fellow fit fat. That's what I like to call it. I'm branding that. It's interesting because I have had to exercise my whole life to be this weight. Like, this is work. This is like I would be like my 600-pound life if it was. I'm not kidding. Because I really didn't learn how to eat properly until I was probably like 29. My parents tried, a lot of dietitians, a lot of Weight Watchers meetings with mother in high school. Can't think of anything better. The counting points in grade 11. You guys don't have grades. I don't know, 5th form, what the fuck, however it works here. I still don't understand the school system here, which will be weird if I have a kid who could have a Kiwi accent. What the fuck? Yeah, but not an Australian one, because that's different, right? Yeah. I also make it abundantly clear constantly that I'm not American because of my boisterous personality and lack of respect for other people. I need to make it clear that that's a personal choice and not a cultural reaction. FYI. Where were we? Yeah, and then I went to F45 and I don't find any of the trainers very sexy. I found one okay. And I think a lot of the other 45-year-old moms that do the 9:30 class also are like, hi, yeah, so anyway, I wanted to talk to you about this. And it's like, do you need personal advice from this person right now? Okay, I don't think so. I see you. Fucking cougar. You know, I'm like, oh, I gotta warm up, man. I gotta warm up. I gotta lift those 2 kg weights soon. Anyway, my point is, there are women there who you can tell reach like 45 and we're like, I need to do the exercise. And they just can't. They're like Gumby. It's like, okay, so I guess we'll just do this. Yeah, and I am so red and so hot. So red. Like, as soon as we do like half the warm-up, I'm in a sweat. I'm tired. It's not easy for me to do a mountain climber. It's not the same as it is for someone who weighs fucking 70 kilos. You know? That's not how it is for me. I'm moving a lot of woman around. You know? I don't know if that's not funny. Anyway. Oh, it's hot up here. It's so fucking hot in this country all the time until it's not. And then they're like, why is it the same temperature inside as it is out? I went to a real house yesterday. It was incredible. It was in Richmond. And it had central heat. I don't care where it was. Who cares? It wasn't a wooden tent, which I appreciated. And they didn't need to collect the firewood to start the fire in the morning like a fucking pioneer woman. I was just talking to Sarah. I'm pretty impressed by women who have any children, let alone multiple. That sounds fucked. So good job. And I was just saying to her, it would be nice, like, I'm 31 now, and I am smoking a lot of weed. If anyone knows if you smoke weed and are pregnant, and if that's a problem or not, if you could get back to me, because the internet is not conclusive. And that could be a pretty significant deciding factor for me. I'm not very good at suffering, you know? Like, I'm like, oh, it's so hot. I have to go home. It's too hot. It is fucking hot up here, though, right? Yeah, especially because of the humidity. Anyway, I was going somewhere with that. But if I was in the 1910s and all I had to do as a woman was just take care of the home and raise children, that would be easy. But now, how it is you work and make money and take care of your husband and keep up an active and fun and interesting sex life and raise your kids to be well-balanced, healthy people and make all of your food from the garden that you grow in the fucking backyard with your home-killed fucking beef. And that's just a lot to take on. Because I really love my partner and he's a really fucking good dude, which in this day and age, very rare. Very rare. Internet porn has done a lot of weird shit to my generation. Every single dude I have dated, including the person I'm with, has been like, no, I don't like butt stuff. No, I swear, no, it's not for me. 1 year in, it's all like, I have been lied and deceived by many men. Anyway, but he's a great guy, good at fixing stuff, brings a lot to the table. I'm not denying that. This is a conversation we had this morning at 7:30, getting ready for F45. Get my XXL t-shirt on, so everyone can kind of see me as a person, just floating like a little ghost with a red face. And he goes, honey, is this milk bad? And I said, honey, I don't know. Maybe. What's the date? Let's learn life. And he's like, well, it should be good. I'm like, there's another bottle. You could just pour that one out. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'm like, I can't be here to hold your hand through this kind of stuff. You gotta figure out the milks on your own. You gotta do your own critical thinking around that. I can't be here for that. I gotta smoke weed. The other problem I have in Nelson is there's a lot of supply issue. I really saw that 2020's redeeming factor will be the legalization of weed, but this fucking country failed me yet again. And I can't go home now. They all fucking stuck me here. Yeah, I thought about that a lot. Anyway, you have to have multiple suppliers because sources are complex. It seems to come, a lot of it comes from Christchurch, some of it comes from even further down south. So I got a couple guys, most of them are weird. Talking, am I getting a flash? Dave told me he's going to forcibly remove me if I went over 10 minutes.
You've got 30 seconds before I forcibly remove you.
Forcibly? I didn't get any flash.
I flashed you.
Maybe yourself, but not with a, oh. Hey, you're a fat fit yourself. Anyway, I'd like to relay the story of how the other day I was picking up weed. You gotta do it in your car. Because two people sitting in a car with it running doesn't look weird. And he was like, how are you doing it? And I just started crying. And he was like, okay. And I was like, it was a really bad year last year. And I really thought this year was going to be different. But I have no concrete evidence to believe that. Like, I'm just like, cosmically it will change. Right? And that's not how it works. And then he said, oh, well, Bay Dreams is tomorrow. And people aren't good at getting their drugs in time. So I have a lot of drop-offs to do tonight, because Day Dreams is tomorrow. But I can come back if you need to talk. And I was like, that's okay, man. You know, it's important that those kids get their MDMA. And I guess I gotta go now. Yeah, okay, good night.
Awesome. So we're just one more performer away from our headline act, Nick Redder. Woo, exciting. So who's watching Netflix these days? Netflix? Anybody watching Cobra Kai? Everybody's watching Cobra Kai. You're what? Cobra Kai? Just a joke? Looks like yeah. Anyway. So I actually just got a message, a bit distracted because I got a message from my friend Angela from Ireland, and she messaged me saying that she stayed at her grandmother's house about 12 months ago, and she left a G-string there, and she's been Skyping, and her grandmother's using it as a face mask. But she doesn't have the heart to tell her. But awkward, isn't it? Oh, goodness me. Oh, dear. Right, we're going to go straight ahead to our next act. Glenn Cousins.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I was at a party the other day, and I was with a bunch of people, and someone just asked, if you were reincarnated, what animal would you come back as? And I'm like, I know this was going to be a quiz. I would have prepared something if I knew that. And all these people were just going around and saying, yeah, I'd come back as a panda bear, or I'd come back as a zebra. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure what to do. And then they come to me and I'm like, I know, a sea sponge. And people start laughing at me. Sea sponge, why the fuck do you want to be a sea sponge? I said, well, I figure I wouldn't need to carry a water bottle with me. My skin would never be dry. And if I came back as a female, I'd never have to buy feminine napkins. So I got that sorted. What else have I been thinking about? So I was thinking, which TV character would I choose to bring in for a threesome? Easy. Thing from the Addams Family. Right? Remember Thing? He's just that hand that lives in the box. Because so many times I'm like, having sex, I'm thinking, if I just had one or two more fingers, I could really take this thing to the next level. And shit, Thing's got 5 of them. That'll be fucking awesome. I mean, Thing can do everything, Maybe except like fisting. I mean, he could probably work his way in there, but getting out, that's gonna be the hard part. You probably need a whole shoulder, to pull that out. But besides, do you really need a whole person for a threesome? It's kind of complicates things. Because you might end up with some person kind of falling for the other person and becoming attached or something like that. And also 3 people in a bed, that's crowded. A lot of elbows and stuff. Good thing, you're done. He just goes back to his box. That's the end. And I was watching some of those old Addams families with the black and white ones, and looking at Gomez and Morticia, the main couple, and I'm thinking, they look like they have a pretty good sex life. I think that they've probably discovered that Thing could do more than just light cigars. You know what I'm thinking? It's like da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. They're creepy and they're kinky. In their bum they like a pinky. Thing gets a little stinky. The Addams Family. Da-da-da-da. I know you love it when I sing, so I have to work that into. Right. Suicide. I can't imagine ever killing myself, but if I do, I know exactly how I do it. I just hire a hooker with a fat ass to sit on my face. I cannot be the only person that's ever thought of this. I mean, it just seems like such a nice way to go, It's like the last thing you see is these two beautiful spears just getting closer and maybe if you're lucky, she has a tattoo. It's like, hey, isn't that Tupac Shakur? And then darkness, like you're back in your mother's womb, if your mother was a hooker. Just swaddled with this warm, soft flesh on your face. After a minute, you might feel like you need to struggle for life, but if her thighs are anything like her ass, that's not going to last long. And then that's it. Done. You're dead. It just seems like such a much nicer way to go than blowing your head off with a gun. It's like someone's gonna have to see this. Someone's gonna come in and see this mess. With my way, they just come in and you just have that face, and they're probably thinking, oh my God, it's like, and they have all these questions like, why did he do it? Why didn't he come to me and talk to me? Why didn't I see the signs? My way, the only mystery was, why does Dad's face smell like ass and pussy? That's not something that someone's going to spend the rest of their life trying to Da Vinci Code out, It's like, they'll get over it. Maybe the other thing would be, I don't know, every time, they're having 69, they might be thinking about you and crying. But otherwise, it's a perfect way to go. Why do they have labels on bananas? Everyone ever ask themselves, why do they have labels on bananas? I mean, they don't have labels on potatoes or onions. We seem to be able to do just fine, And I know you're saying, what's the big deal? It's a little label on a banana. You know that in the world, every year, we eat 100 billion bananas. Those things add up. I still have some of those things in my compost bin like from 5 years ago. They just never go away. Now what do we need them for? All commercially grown bananas are the same. They're Cavendish bananas, Have you ever peeled a banana and not found a banana inside a banana? No, it's never happened. The only thing on those labels, it says, is like where it's from. I don't care if they're from Ecuador or Mordor. I'm eating those bananas. Right. I have a very good friend, female friend, platonic. Her name is Maura. And it's really good having a female friend because, they could talk about, have these really good conversations and really see a woman's point of view. And the other day, she said to me, Glenn, do men know that they should never ask a woman for anal sex? And I said, no, never heard that before, but I'm listening now. So she says to me, yes, you have to understand, a woman sees her vagina like it's a famous Broadway actress. It's her with her name's up in lights. She's on the billboard. She's earned this stardom. She's gotten great reviews. Countless awards and accolades. And everybody Everybody wants to work with her. Producers, directors, agents. They know that she is the star of the show. But just inches away and sealed off from the limelight is her understudy, her back passage. There she is, waiting in the wings, just in case she has to go on. Because if the star can't make it for a performance, she leaves a gaping hole in that cast. And it's up for that understudy to take the place of that gaping hole. And what happens is all these men that are in their lives, in the star's lives, begin to notice her. And they start wondering, what would it be like if she went on stage and she played that role just for a night, or maybe a matinee? But they can't go and ask the star of the show not to go on so they can have the understudy on, Because what would happen, what would happen? I mean, I know these people think that if she goes on, yes, she'll be nervous at first, but she'll soon relax and loosen up. And she'll give a gripping performance. She knows how to hold an audience and squeeze every last drop out of her co-star. But they can't go and ask the star of the show to let her go on. What would happen if she got better reviews? What would happen if everyone all of a sudden thought, this is the person I want to see. We want to see the understudy from now on. It would devastate her. Because she would realize at that moment that her star had faded. And her best work is behind her. Thank you very much.
It was great because the whole time I was looking at this. Just the whole time he was talking. Oh dear. A lot of misleading business names around. Like the Liquid Bar, it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? Liquid here in the bar. I went to the vent shop and they didn't want to know my problems. Secrets Gentlemen's Club. Not really a secret, is it? There's definitely more seamen landing in that building than the port at the moment. Well, you've been wonderful. Very wonderful. Now we're seconds away from the wonderful Nick Rado. Seconds. So everybody just let's get that. Harry Potter when he grows up. So let's get that So we'll just start with a little clap. Little polite clap. A little bit louder. A little bit louder. Come on everybody, let's welcome the wonderful Nick Rado.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. It's all happening. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for all the comedians you've seen this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them a little rush, if that's okay. Just going to put that over to the other stage. That is at Liquid Bar. Fantastic. So, yes, so thank you so much. Listen, it's been a dream of mine to perform here for quite some time. If you can't dream it, then you can't achieve it. And when I cashed in my life savings to make it in comedy, this is exactly how I pictured it would be. So it's good to be here. So we've got a mixture of people here, which is exciting. We've got some young single people here, which is fantastic. I'm married. I've been married for a little while, and I'm curious about that Tinder situation that you've got the young people have got going on. I feel like you're about 3 months away from becoming like TripAdvisor. People are going to start leaving reviews of other people, and you're like, oh, that's a good idea. Like Stephen, he's 5 stars. And he's like, oh, but 184 reviews. Okay, a lot of back to the one night stays there, but one best boyfriend 3 years in a row. They've got a banner. So that's exciting. Yes, so it's a weird time this time to perform for me. Listen, I don't know when to eat beforehand. I have to go takeaways. My go-to takeaway after this is Pizza Hut, but I don't think that they want to make pizzas anymore. I think that they've given up. They're just like $5, whatever. We don't even want to make it. We're just giving it away. And listen, they basically, how many more things are going to stuff in that crust? Like, it's off-putting how much they're putting in there. Like, there was a hot dog in there the other day. I'm like, what? No one's asked for that. Why are you putting a hot dog in there? There's a mince and cheese pie and a crust. No one's ever gone, you know what would be amazing at the end of a slice? Another meal. Like, no one's said that, and no one's asked for that. I reckon we're a couple of months away from going to Pizza Hut, like, where's my 2 litres of Coke? Like, it's in the crust. Along with your receipt and $5 change. I ordered 2 pizzas. Where's the other pizza? It's in the crust, man. Just along with the 2 litre Coke. It's fine. It's good. How many more things are going to stuff in there? We're going to buy it in there, and like illegal immigrants are going to pop out. Who ordered the Mexican Supreme? And so, I always don't know what to do with that last bit, but so that's exciting. So that's good. So I'm just trying out a few little things. Oh, okay. I was at a cafe the other day, and they had a thing called Soup of the Moment. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try that. And I said, excuse me, what's the soup of the moment? And they said, oh, it's tomato. I was like, ooh, okay. And now? Oh God, it's still tomato. What about now? Carried on for about 27 minutes. And, so just out of curiosity, how often do you change your soup at the moment? They're like, oh, daily. Soup of the day, mate. So, probably save yourself some sign writing there. Okay, good, that'll go in as well. Okay. Oh, yeah, alright, so when I got, let's use this as a thing. So when I was on my wedding night, I try to be romantic. I try to carry my wife across the threshold. But here's a little tip: if you're getting engaged or if you're getting married, here's a little tip: don't do what I did, and before you pick her up, don't go 1, 2, 3. Girls do not like it. We use words synonymous with lifting a couch. Probably should have put an old blanket over here, but I've got my mate Barry around to help. But like these are. We got around the diagonal, it's fine. But it's so these are the things that I'm learning and that I can pass on to you guys as future like situations. So this is a big leap. Okay, cool. So I've been going to a lot of birthday parties recently. I went to a 5-year-old birthday party and I was invited. Just didn't turn up. I've got kids, by the way. I've got 2 kids. I've got a boy and a girl. And from what I can gather from my experience, boys are like dogs. You just have to let them run outside. Otherwise, they destroy the house. And girls are like cats in that you never know if they actually like you. That's what I'm dealing with at the moment. And a lot of people, they say like modern day parenting, it's hard, and it is kind of hard, but I'm going to give us a little tip. If you have, especially younger kids, I see people at the park and they struggle when they want to go home and the kids aren't listening, whatever. Here's what I do. All you do, just count backwards from 3 and just be very stern with what you want to happen, okay? So I'm at the park, kids are there, I want to go home. So I'm just going to go, 3, 2, 1, we're going home now, like that. When I say that, they know You got 45 more minutes. So I offer them an ice cream, and they get a new bike. And it's just about creating boundaries. And if you can do that, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. But yeah, I got invited to this 5-year-old birthday party, and I've been used to going to older parties, so I was sort of taking a bit of, like, basically the birthday song quietened, and then I just sort of jumped into, I just made a toast. I don't know if you've ever done that at a 5-year-old birthday before. It doesn't really happen a lot. I think personally because they haven't achieved much. And I've only just really found out his name was Damien from the song. So I don't really know too many people here. And I don't even really know the parents at this stage as well. I'm just a guy, I'd like to make a toast. And like, I didn't realise you were invited. And so I've just gone, and I've just come to, I was like, I'm just making something on the spot. So I've just gone, to Damien, here's to another 5 years. I don't know if you've ever openly put a curse on a child before. But that's what I do upon a weekend. But the other thing, so I went to my niece's birthday party, and she was turning 12, and that was exciting for them, and all of their friends were really well behaved. And I said to my brother, I was like, hey, they're 12, how come they're really well behaved? Because when we were 12, we weren't very well behaved. And he said, oh yeah, right, it's because they don't have Raro powdered drink sachets. And you might be from overseas, you might be from America. Raro is like Kool-Aid, or if you're from Britain, it's like a powdered version of Sunny Delight. Or if you're from South America, Raro is like cocaine. For kids. Like, we're supposed to dilute that stuff 2 litres of water to 1 sachet. Let's stuff that, man. We hit that stuff straight, y'all. We would get a sachet, we'd rip it open, we'd pour it in our hands, we'd like, we didn't even care what it was cut with, right? It was just like, we didn't question why white powder stained our hand orange. We're just like, yeah, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. Like that, and then even the flavours was done like they were drugs. What the hell was Jamaican lime? Like that did it need to be Jamaican? I don't know. I think lime would have sufficed like that. And then after your Raro, you just be like, Mom! Dad! Just gonna go outside and ride my bike for 12 hours! And you'd ride the equivalent of 300 kilometers, but just in a circle in your driveway. Like that. We got diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. We didn't have ADHD, we had RARO. That was the medical diagnosis. So good times. Good times. There's a couple of things I want to chat to you about tonight, and one of the things is that, as I said to you before, I'm married, but like we have an honesty at all times policy at our marriage, and I think that sort of works. But the only problem is that you can't be honest all the time. That's the only flaw in that. Especially in the delivery room of your children. You can't be honest in there. You can't like walk in there and go, it's going to take ages. Like you can't, don't ask for the Wi-Fi password because like, you get answers like, Jesus Christ, what were you thinking? And like, you're like, sorry. Is Jesus Christ all lowercase, or is that? It's got a 1 in it? No, okay, that's all uppercase by the sounds of it. And if your wife sort of turns to you and says, I don't think I can do it, don't agree. Like, you need to be a team player in that situation. You're just like that. And if the midwife says to the doctor, are we almost there yet? Don't say, no, it still says incorrect password. Like, just just download some stuff for Netflix, and then you should be fine, should be good. The whole thing's a lie, to be honest. Like, even when the baby was born, it was like, Stephen John Smith was born at 6 a.m. The doves were singing, and there was 17 of them flying, and the heart formation and autumnal leaves would fall into the ground, and that made the sign of baby Jesus, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. 7 pounds 11 ounces. Like, oh yeah, great. That's what you have to write. But you don't want to write that. What you want to write is, whoa, that got serious real quick. Mum and Dad currently have post-traumatic stress disorder, and they've just realised they can't go out for 18 years. 7 pounds 11 ounces. Like, why are we doing that, by the way? Why are we giving out the weight? We don't carry that on. Happy 32nd and 112 kgs birthday, Mike. Like, it's not, we're at Sarah's 21st. Oh, yeah, well, as we all know, she's 84 kg. Why are we starting something we never carry on? Like, why are we giving away information that people on the internet can guesstimate how big your wife's vagina is? Like, we do not need to do it. We just don't need to do it. 7 pounds 11 ounces. All right. I'm doing this thing called showcase parenting, where you teach your son or your daughter something really, really amazing, but it's to the detriment of their other learning. So, for example, I'm teaching my son, whenever he's handed something, that he receives it and says, "Thank you, that looks exquisite." It's just super cute for like a 3-year-old to do. Like, Nana's handing him spaghetti bolognese, and he's like, "Thank you, that looks exquisite." But then he like smushes his face in it, because I haven't taught him how to use a spoon yet. And that is showcase parenting. Like, the reward of that cuteness versus actual practicality is what, But I'm all about the, and then it's like, "You're so advanced," all that kind of stuff. That looks exquisite. That's all I'm after, that thing. But the other thing I have to teach him how to swim. Well, I don't have to teach him how to swim. The swimming instructor that we go to, she teaches him how to swim. But I don't really like her that much. She's very patronising towards me. She'll say often things like, "For those of you who were here last week." Rack off, lady. Like, the reason why we weren't here last week is because we got here 15 minutes late into a half-an-hour class, and I thought, there's no point, so we just went to McDonald's and we just watched, Paw Patrol on my phone long enough so that I could go into the bathroom, wet his hair, and so his mum thought we actually went. Like, it's a true story. And so we had to go this other time, and like it was quite. We were running quite late, and my wife gave me. She said, "Can you give this card to the swimming instructor, and can you sign it?" And I said, "Yeah." And she did say what it was for, but because I was a bit late, I didn't quite compute, and so we went off. And so I was like, "Okay, I can do that. It's fine." Now it's quite stressful, the swimming scenario, especially like a young toddler, because you have to put this like glorified dishwashing glove on their head. And I think I put it on wrong, because every time I put it on his head, it's super tight. Like, it's like he's surprised. Like, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, he looks like an Auckland housewife who's had too much Botox." Just like, "I am happy in my marriage. Why do you ask?" Like that. It's just super. Oh yeah. It's not because we got to swimming on time this week either. It's just he's genuinely like, "This is so tight," like that. And so I'm in there, got the dishwashing glove on his head, and then I've got to sign this card. Now I don't like cards. I think the office card is the worst card in the world, the office card. I don't know why we have it. I've never been like, really depressed and down, and I thought to myself in that moment, you know what would really cheer me up? That office card that I got from that job 3 years ago. I think that's going to pull me through. I'll just get it out and just see what words of wisdom that everybody at the office were giving me. And I'm, "Oh, look at that. All the best." You can tell they meant it because they all wrote it. Some maverick will go "best wishes," and you're like, "Mate, you're going to rue the day you come across a genie." And the genie's going to go, you can have one wish up to the value of $12. And I'm like, what? I thought it was infinity wishes, three wishes up to infinity. I thought it was, so you gave your best wishes to John. I didn't know it was that powerful right there. So anyway, so I've got to sign this card, and you need to go in with a plan. Like you can't, because they're about $12 these cards now. You can't just like go in and just write whatever. And I went overconfident. I thought, I'm a comedian, I'm a writer, I can write something. So I just went, Dear Sarah, that's the Sarah instructor's name. And then I just wrote the word imagine. Who starts a sentence with the word imagine? Like, that's... Even my boy was like, whoa, that is... quite surprising that you've just opened with that. And you've gone with a capital letter as well. You can't even put another word in front of it. Otherwise it's going to read like a tabloid headline. Can't imagine swimming without you, writes the Daily Mail. Like, what are you doing? Well, you've written yourself into a cul-de-sac, mate. What are you going to do? And then so I was like, what are we going to do? And I was like, oh, a genius thing came out. I'll just I'll do a John Lennon quote. It'll be fine. Right. So, Dear Sarah, John Lennon quote, boom, we're away, we're into swimming, it's all good. Now, there's an idiot in our class. His name is Bryce. He's 4.5. Because he can kind of swim. He can kind of do it. Like, he's already doing it. Like, he's sort of like, doing all the, breathing to the side and, all that kind of stuff. And my son's, eating the lane ropes. And it's just the golf. It's the golf and the difference in abilities that I'm kind of looking. Because it looks bad on me as a parent, right? And so we get into class, we do this thing, we put them, we do our thing, that's all good. And we're swimming halfway through, and then halfway through, there's a code brown. If you're up to date with your codes, it's poo in the pool. Now, we think we think it was one of the kids, and so the good news is no one blamed my son because he was as surprised as anyone that it had actually happened. You're like, oh, on the day before they go into swimming, this happens like that, And then Bryce, he's going to save the day because, his breaststrokes over to it, he starts grabbing the poo, starts trying to hand it to people, and everyone's like, parents going, get away, mate, what are you doing? My son's over by the lane ropes, he's just hanging out like that. He finally gives it to my son grabs it, and he goes, thank you, that looks exquisite. Manners on the side, he's so advanced. Stop smushing your face in it, mate. Like, don't. It's not how I thought that would go, And like, well, I was like, you should tell the people of Liquid Bar that story. And I was like, yeah, I should tell them that. But then she goes, oh, but did you give the swimming instructor the card? I was like, oh yeah, I gave it to her. And she goes, oh great, because her grandma died. And I was like, she's like, what? What did you write? Oh, dear Sarah, imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. Nick Ratto, 80 kgs. Well, you just wrote best wishes. Gave them to John. I'm not too sure what the time is. Have you got a bit more time? Not really? Do you want us to go? We can wrap up there if you want. Yeah? Do you want to wrap up now, or have you got 5 minutes? 5? A tight 5? That's a man. Have you got, because unless you guys want to go. Are you good? This is the worst encore. Like, this is the most. Okay, whoa. Right. Since you guys demanded it. I'll do this last little bit. Okay, so this is important. Okay, so I'm from a place called Porirua. So for those of you who are unaware of it, you might be overseas. I grew up next to a bunch of kids called the Mongrel Mob. So it's a notorious gang, very, it's a big gang, and they're quite, they do what they do. And so you can't find them on LinkedIn. So does that make them organised? I don't know. And a lot of people said to me, is that, a white boy growing up next to, the mongrel mob, that, what was that like, having neighbours, a gang as neighbours? And I'm like, it's just the same. I could go around, I could borrow sugar from them if I wanted to. I was like, can I borrow sugar from you guys? And they're like, yeah, sure, 1 gram or 2. We'd play Spotlight, games like Spotlight with the local kids. Wow. It was, police helicopter, but like, it was, it was great to go, it's them again. And so, we had this great rule where they wouldn't steal off us if we just gave them our stuff when they asked for it. And it's really quite simple, really. It was a safe neighbourhood. It was less neighbourhood watch, more neighbourhood what you're looking at, but it's all I knew. It's what I do. It's what I grew up with. And so I met my wife, and she was a yoga instructor, and we didn't have yoga in Porirua. If someone asked you to get into a downward facing position in Porirua, you're in an armed robbery. Like that was the only thing I knew. And so there came to this point in this moment where, she supports me a lot in what I do. Like, so for example, she'll watch. So I'm learning Sanskrit Indian, for example. Sanskrit Indian. For those of you who don't know Sanskrit Indian, it's like 14,000 people in the world. It's almost a dead language. 14,000 people in the world speak it. 13,000 of which are white women in yoga pants. Hashtag life off the mat. But that's what I've done for her. I'm like doing that for her. And then, she watches some Netflix specials. And so it's a fair trade, how we're supporting each other's, comedy. But when I first met her, I didn't know what to do. I was like going, because I want to impress her, but at the same time, I don't know what to do. So I was trying to sort of blag my way through it. Now, eventually she was like, Nick, do you like yoga? And I was like, love yoga. Massive fan of Star Wars. So she's like, no, do you like hot yoga, like Backroom yoga? Do you like hot yoga? I was like, yeah. If it's anything like frozen yoga, and with you a couple of times a week. She's like, no, you should come to one of my classes. So I did. I went to her class, and I turned up to her class in my running shorts. Here's a tip. Literally. Like wear undies. Don't wear boxer shorts, because otherwise you're in this sort of Warrior 2 situation and you're I see you've met everybody. That's exciting. That's great. In a yoga studio, 4-sided mirrors. That's exactly what you need in this situation right there. And I didn't realize I had a freckle there. That's brilliant. You can see right up my chakra. That's fantastic. So I'm in this downward dog situation, and from nowhere, I farted. To which the hot yoga instructor goes, sorry Nick, what was that? Now, I'm trying to impress her. I can't just go, it's all right, love, just farted, carry on with the class. So I did what any guy would do in that situation. So I had to come up with a question that sounded like my fart. So I was like, have you ever been to Prague? She's like, no. It's like, good. I'll probably ask you that again later. You guys have been a real treat. Thank you so much for coming out. My name is Nick. Grado, I'm doing actually. I'm recording my special in Mapua Playhouse next week, so Thursday and Friday. I still need to sell some tickets, so it'd be great if there's an audience there. So if you've got friends and family, even people you hate, just come, just send them along. Mapua Playhouse, tickets are like $18, and then yeah, it's a good fun time. But let's have a round of applause for Sarah, everybody, the MC at the end.
Also at the Beach Whale and Kaiteri tomorrow night, you'll catch Nick and a few of us as well. So thank you very much for coming to Liquid Bar, Backroom Comedy. You've been very above average. So thanks very much and have a great night. Thank you.